everyone, and welcome to the Y Generation, the show where we talk about all the things that matter to our generation. I'm Andrew Olivares, and I cannot wait to dive into some topics with our awesome panellists. But first, let me introduce you to them. We have Michelle, who is currently studying a Bachelor of Arts and Media and is pretty much becoming a regular on our panel.
I'm kind of a big deal.
We have Scott, a country boy who is hoping to revolutionise the advertising industry.
Viva la revolution!
Tom, an aspiring billionaire who is looking to bring sexy back.
It should not be too long now.
And last but not least, we have Emily, a dedicated student who's studying a double degree.
Yeah, I have no life.
Let's all give them a round of applause. Now that you've been introduced, let's dive straight into it with Because Y Said So. We have an email from Alex. It reads, "Hi YGen, my name's Alex and I'm a self-confessed internet addict. If I drink a cup of coffee in the morning, I will tweet about it. If I go to the gym, I check in on Facebook. If I'm out with friends, I post a pic on Instagram. I guess you can say I'm a little obsessed. Anyway, I recently met a guy online and we've been talking for weeks now, and we are finally organising to meet in person. But I'm scared and nervous. We get along really well online, but what happens if we don't in real life? I'm worried this relationship we've had will change in the real world. What do you guys reckon? Love, Alex." So what do you reckon, Scott? Do you think this email is a symptom of how being raised and then reliant on social media will mean the end of our personal relationship skills?
Well, firstly, Alex, thanks for the love. It's appreciated. Secondly, you know, it's not really a bad thing to meet someone online. It's great to be able to say whatever you want without fearing that their reaction's going to be like that, because they're afraid of what you just said. It's a great thing, social media, for meeting new people, because you are going to be able to say whatever you want without the fear of, you know, being axe murdered.
Right. But do you think the new question is that can we have these relationships purely online and not even meet these people?
I don't think you can disregard physical contact.
Right.
I don't think that a relationship online should stay online. Eventually you should get off and meet and hug and kiss and whatever. But I think that there's a real strong kind of push towards the online thing, and I think that could be dangerous potentially. I think it's important to keep the social bounds open.
And Michelle, why do you think there's a stigma attached to meeting people online to begin with?
Well, I just think it's because maybe people don't have like a full understanding of it, and there's always that confusion when people don't understand something, then they might just be against it straight away. But there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, in this day and age, almost everything's online, so it just sort of allows two people to connect that might not have connected in real life.
I think the stigma is you're not good enough to meet someone in person, so you're jumping online.
Well, yeah, but I mean, what's the difference between meeting someone online and meeting someone in a bar? I mean, at the end of the day, you're still going to have that first date, and it might not work out.
It's very difficult to assess someone online as well, like judge their characteristics and their mannerisms.
Because they're putting their best online, right?
Exactly. And I really think it's a negative thing. It's had, such a negative impact on our physical interactions, not so much on our social ones, but in a business sense, again, it's, the customer service roles in particular, I think it's, very much so had a negative impact.
There are some positives, though. There's, like, all these happy couples on eHarmony. You see the ads, and they're like, oh, I'm so happy I met the love of my life online.
But, and you're still going to end up having the same physical relationship, though. The online thing is just a starting point, basically. And
It's just quicker, though. Like, my parents met. One lived in Australia, one lived in the United States, and they snail-mailed to each other. It's just a quicker version of that to get it, you know.
That's really sweet. We'll have to leave that subject there and move on to the next email. The next message we have comes from Tony via Facebook. "Hey YGen, I recently went for a job interview at a bank. I have sleeve tattoos on both arms, a chest piece and a hand tattoo. For the job interview, I dressed kind of nerdy in suit pants and a dress shirt. The bank guy took one look at my hand tattoo and decided I wasn't right for the job. I felt kind of discriminated against. Should this be allowed? It's not fair. What do you think?" Guys, what do you think?
Well, Tony, I think you might not have got the job because of your hand tattoo. I think that...
Poor Tony.
I know. I think that Y Generation has to stop and think about what tattoos they're getting on their body. And another point is they're not original anymore. It's the norm. I think it's 1 in 3 have a tattoo. It's like...
But it's wrong to discriminate against it. I mean, we're trying to move forward and not discriminate in the workplace against women, against certain ethnicities, so why are we going to go backwards as a society and
what if his
discriminate against
tattoo
tattoos?
was the Hitler symbol? Just sitting there, just waiting to get seen by people.
Well,
that's an offensive tattoo. Why should he be allowed to have a job?
If it doesn't affect his qualifications, then he can still do his job properly. Everybody wins. What's the problem?
I think that if you have a tattoo, if I was hiring someone and he had a neck tattoo and the other person didn't, I would hire the one without the neck tattoo. And I think a lot of businesses do.
But tattoos have changed so much over the years as well. Like back maybe 10 years back, it was seen as a form of rebellion, whereas in modern society it's seen as a form of expression, I think. And I think it's a really positive thing.
Yeah, but if I get a tattoo that says "fuck you" across my forehead and I walk in for a job interview, am I allowed to just be expressing myself to those people?
But that's very extreme anyway. That's not the norm.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if you went into a job interview and you had, like, good initiative under, like, a no regrets and a good team worker right there. That'd be great. That's everything you're looking for in an employee.
Exactly.
I don't think any employee or any business wants to represent their company with tattoos.
But what if it's something traditional? What if it's something loving
I
from
have a lot
family?
of sentimental things to me. I don't need to get them on my body.
But some people feel like that's a good way to express themselves. And I mean, if somebody studies law, for example, and then they go and get a tattoo after their law degree, it doesn't change the fact they have a law degree.
You're the face of a company. If you're representing someone and you have big tattoos here that say Slayer or Amity Affliction, you're representing the person who, if you're a lawyer, you're representing your client, or if you're working at McDonald's, you're still representing McDonald's, and you should look the part.
If they're good at their job, who cares? I mean, if you need...
Yeah, why is there a stigma to begin with?
Exactly.
That's what we're trying to figure out.
It's just
Stigma is because a lot of people with tattoos
because
do
you
bad
think they're
things.
ruthless.
But they do bad things.
Because they've got a tattoo, you think they do bad things.
Not just because, but a lot do.
That's discrimination.
need
though.
That's
surgery...
generalised.
Let's not just do jobs for people with tattoos. Let's make them sit at the back of the bus and use different water fountains from now on. I'm sick of being with tattooed people.
Look, I'm sure if you needed surgery and the only surgeon available had a tattoo, you would take the surgery. You wouldn't discriminate and be like, no, I'll just wait for my kidney to burst and wait for a surgeon to
But
come
what if
through
the
without a
tattoo said, fuck humans or something?
What if he's a damn good surgeon and he's going to save your life? Or she?
What if his tattoo
never
says,
know.
I've killed 10 people in surgery?
one tear for each death.
I think you should take the risk.
Yeah, it
Really?
shouldn't be based on personal profiles, I don't think.
Well, we know what our panel thought. What about you at home? Decide amongst yourselves and join the conversation at #YGenTV. We'll see you back here shortly on The Y Generation. Welcome back to The Y Generation. Check out what the people of Sydney had to say as crew ventured out to get their thoughts on whether or not children should be kept on a leash.
Well, I don't have children, but when I do have children, not a leash, but maybe that little backpack with the monkey on the back.
Children aren't animals, and that would just be like really sad to keep children on a leash.
Yes, absolutely, because they get all over things and they make them dirty. They're always screaming. Keep them on a leash, you minimise the impact.
No.
Yes.
Your kid, it's not like a pet, you know, not a dog or a cat or anything. Yeah. No, that is so slack. Children need to roam free. They're not dogs. Yeah.
I think that's cruel and harmless, and it can hurt the child physically and emotionally.
Definitely should be kept on a leash.
So then when I had my own kids and then I could see how quickly a child could run away, I thought it's not such a bad idea.
Oh my gosh. The furry ones that like get attached to backpacks look pretty cute, but the idea of like holding your child on a leash is a bit freaky to me.
It's like walking a dog.
No, but it's funny to watch.
Keep an eye on them and make sure they're not doing something extremely crazy, then they should be allowed, a bit of freedom.
No.
No way, absolutely not.
If you run too free, you run over the edge of a cliff.
They're not puppies.
Constraint, but not restraint, let's put it that way.
I can see both sides of the argument. I know I personally wouldn't want to be leashed, at least not in public. Perhaps in private. What about you, Michelle?
Look, I think it's completely wrong for parents to put a leash around their child. I mean, you should be able to instill discipline into the child so that they listen to you. If you need to tie a leash around them, then I think your parenting techniques are questionable.
I think parents don't need another thing, you know? They have to not smack their children in public, not... You know, there's so many things. You can't feed out of this plastic bottle. There's so many things that they don't need another thing that they can't do.
Yeah, we should take it further, though, and, you know, not just leash them in public, leash them when they're at home, out in the yard, you know, give them a little dog run or something, a little kennel. They can sleep. Water bowls for kids,
No.
You know, they're great.
Oh, God.
I don't mean taking it that far,
But don't you think it's parenting from the beginning, from when they're born, you have to teach them to not run away, to not run
parents
onto
are
the
so
street?
busy these days.
So you're telling me that they're so busy that they can't be good parents?
You can't
It's not that.
You can't be too busy
No.
to not raise your child. You need to have time for your child.
Exactly.
It's not about raising. Obviously, 90% of parents are doing their best, but both parents have to work full time. They're paying bills, etc.
Yeah, and why?
What's wrong with holding them on a leash while you go to the shops just to get your groceries done?
Yeah, and why do we care if the leash is there to protect them from things? Like, it's the same thing as locking your medicine cabinet, locking up the chemicals at home. It's another safety measure, and it's just a public safety measure to stop them
But
from
what?
hurting
What do you think is
themselves.
going to happen? The kid's going to run amok and go on a shooting spree in society, you know?
Yeah, well,
if you're
not exactly a shooting spree, but I think it's a very positive thing, you know? I've had personal experience with it. Like, there was one particular occasion, I was attached to a piece of elastic, not a leash, but similar to a leash. And yeah, I think it was great because it kept me safe, you know. It was a bit demoralising when you go to the park, you see all the dogs running around, but you could also reenact your favourite Mission Impossible
That's exactly
scenes.
right, though. It devalues the child. I mean, if you want to tie a leash around something, go buy a dog. Don't have a child.
But isn't protecting something valuing it more than anything else? And that's what a parent is doing when they leash it. They're not leashing it because they're lazy parents. They're leashing it because they don't want the kid to be standing next to them and they go to talk to their other kid and that kid runs in the street and gets hit by a truck.
The child then learns that they only have to behave when they're on their leash. And then as soon as the leash comes off, then what happens? They're just going to go nuts.
That's why you never unleash them.
So, using your theory, you should probably put baby food in a bowl on the floor then as well, right?
What
and
about
brush your
the
child.
mum that has 3 different kids? What about the mum that has 3 different kids and she wants to make sure they're all fine?
They can all hold hands. You don't need to tie leashes around them.
Well, you know, that's putting a lot of trust on the kids there. You know, just telling them to hold hands and I'm just going to be sitting there going, yeah, sure.
There's no 3-year-old kid that doesn't make mistakes, and there's no 3-year-old kid that's not going to want to run off, no matter how great of a parent you are.
There's no parent that's never going to make a mistake either, you know.
That's right, but I mean, I never had a leash on me when I was a child, and I mean, maybe I was just a perfect child, who knows? But I wasn't perfect.
Well, on that note, I guess it boils down to parenting styles, I suppose. Anyways, we'll return after the break with more YGen. So, stay where you are. Welcome back to the Y Generation, where we're about to play a round of the blame game in Why So Serious? So we've already discussed the breakdown of our real-life conversations and romance, but now Gen Y are taking the fall for Justin Bieber, consumerism, One Direction, Geordie Shore, very short shorts, talent shows and Miley Cyrus, and that's just to name a few of my favourite things. But who is really to blame? Usher, a Gen X pop star, helped with the Biebs' rise to fame. Simon Cowell made the One Direction phenomenon, and, well, I'm not too sure what happened to Miley. I put it to the panel, is it appropriate if previous generations criticise Gen Y? What do you guys think?
Yeah, sure, why not? Because then it just makes it okay for us to criticise them, so everybody wins.
And what would we criticise them on?
Well, basically ruining our environment. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're the reason we have global warming and such big and drastic environmental issues. So
Pretty much destroying our
yeah, it's ruining our future, you know?
I don't think it's fair at all, the other generations, you know, criticising us to this point, because they've made the mistakes as well, and so are we. We're just perpetuating their mistakes more. Let's be honest. We just continually go down this terrible,
So we shouldn't be
line.
shifting the blame between us.
Yeah, we should just accept that we're terrible people.
We should also listen to their criticism. If they're criticising us on using our phones or something, maybe we should take that into consideration.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, we can criticise things that they've done. Let's listen to what they have to say.
Yeah, no, sadly, I think they may have a point. You know, the top criticism is our use of mobile phones, which, you know, is spot on. I'm always on there, you know, Facebook emergencies and whatnot. The second is our slang, I know, OMG. And the third is just our narcissistic tendencies, which, you know, everybody loves everybody in this generation.
But is that so bad, all these criticisms that they give us?
I think it's just natural. I mean, there's always going to be differences between generations, and that's what causes generation gaps. And I think we often fear the unknown and what we don't understand, and that's the basis of criticism. So if there's so many changes, you know, especially in our generation with technology, and older generations aren't quite up to speed with that, then, yeah, it's going to cause criticism and uncertainty.
In the end, the other generations raised us as well.
Yeah. Well, pointing the finger is stereotypically a Y-gen trait, even if it is to ourselves. All right, moving on to our final topic for tonight. Wait for it. Sex. Can sex be used as a form of currency in a relationship? In many cases, men like to spoil their girlfriends by taking them to romantic restaurants, buying them gifts, chocolates, massages, flowers, and even jewellery. And the perfect return is sex. Or perhaps, in order for a partner to do a certain activity like clean the house or visit their parents, sex can be used as a reward. Is this a common occurrence, and can sex be used as a form of currency in a relationship? And if so, how much is it worth?
Hold on, firstly you said men in the intro. Some women like to spoil their partners as well.
That's beautiful, that's perfect. That's awesome.
That's true.
What do you guys think?
I believe that it was the great academic philosopher, Hot Chocolate, who had some strong opinions on this subject when he said, everyone's a winner, babe. That's no lie. But yes, I do have some questions, though. Is it going to be like money? Does it fluctuate in value? You know, is some worth more than others? Is it like a $5 and $10 note?
I'm sure it's not the only thing that's going up and down.
I think this is a really, it's a really explosive topic to end the show. But I don't think sex should be used as a currency. I think it really devalues it, and it just takes away the meaning from something that's supposed to be an act of love.
But why shouldn't it be used as a currency? If you want someone to do something for you, it's still going to be natural. If you want someone to do something,
it should stem from a natural feeling of love and affection towards each other.
Exactly. You should want to do things for your partner, and they do things for you in return out of love and respect for them, not just because you want to get something from it.
If you go and make it rain for your partner, you're expecting something good in return.
Yeah, well, I mean, money's a positive thing.
Exactly.
Sex is a positive thing. You know, I think they could be seen as the same sort of thing.
I just think it's interesting that the males on this panel agree with each other on the topic and the females agree.
And as usual, the males are right.
I don't know about that.
Okay. Look, prostitution is, of course, like an old form of using sex as currency. But, I mean, that's not right, is it? That doesn't make it okay.
Why isn't that all right? If someone wants to have sex for money, why shouldn't they be allowed to have sex for money?
That's okay if you've made, like, a contract. Like, I'm going to pay you for this amount of, you know, half an hour, however long you need. But when it's in a relationship, it's different. It shouldn't be used.
That doesn't belong in a
relationship.
relationship.
Okay in a relationship, not okay.
Well, what if you're in a relationship
first? Would that make it okay?
No contracts in a relationship.
What if you're in a relationship with a prostitute?
Well, it's not really a relationship then.
You're still in a relationship with them, so it doesn't occur.
I wouldn't classify that a relationship if it's with a prostitute.
Okay, but you say sex shouldn't be used as a currency. Say sex shouldn't be used as a currency, but aren't you getting something out of sex? So it is technically a currency, even if it's
even if it is a gift, if it's a gift that you guys have suggested.
But it shouldn't be labelled as a currency, and it shouldn't be used specifically for materialistic gain.
Well, of course you don't say to your partner, I'm going to give you $3 sex for this, and you can cash it in at any time. You're just going to... Yeah.
It's implicit in the conversation.
It's a form of monetary gain, essentially. Although it doesn't deal with the dollars and cents of the whole thing.
Well, before we get too personal, I think that brings us to the end of our show. Let's thank our panel with a big round of applause. Thanks for watching YGen. We'll leave you with a short YouTube clip that we loved every second of. I'm Andrew Olivares. See you next time.
Excuse me, everybody. Derek, Jake, everyone. I got an announcement to make, and I got my friends here to help me out. Guys, hit it.
Shoot-ba-doo-doo-doo, shoot-ba-doo-doo-doo-doo. I am quitting this job today. Hey, hey, hey. I'm leaving. Even though I like it here, wanna start a new career, gonna make it to the top and start my coffee shop. I am moving on. Got to go. to go. Why I sing this song, yeah. I am quitting this job today. Hey, hey, hey. I'm gone. You know I said I'm gone, yeah.